Hey everyone, Ray here. It's April and I'm going to do my first outdoor garden video of this year. I gave you an update on the transplants, but I planted out my lettuces and I have my tomatoes and peppers out here adjusting to the temperatures and sunshine. So let me take you around and I'll show you everything. So in this bed I have broccoli and cauliflower, which I actually planted this out about a month ago, and it seems like they haven't grown at all. I mean, these are really small still, and I'm not exactly sure how well they're gonna perform in the next like month or so, because it's starting to get really warm. I feel like we barely had spring temperatures. Hey, what are you doing? I'm hoping to get some of these, but I'm not too optimistic. I still think I could have done this maybe a month earlier, started the seeds for these broccolis and cauliflowers. Now here you can see I did a chicken wire fence around my garden, and I have a really high-tech gate here made with PVC pipes and zip ties. So I got that going around the perimeter of my garden. And you can also see back there, put in a fire pit. And right here, this is where I have my seedlings just hanging out under this piece of plastic, and this has helped to diffuse some of the light, some of the direct sunlight, but also that container that I have doesn't have holes in it, so if it rains out here, these plants are soaked in water. So I'm trying to keep these from drowning. And I'll probably end up planting these out, I would think, in the next week or 10 days, because they've been sitting out here for about 3 or 4 days now. In my second batch, which I just did these seeds less than probably 10 days ago, actually might be 10 days on the dot. These are cucumber, squash, and a purple bean and a yellow bean, so like green beans, even though they're not green. But I mean, these grow so fast. The plants back there have been going for what, 2 months now? These have gone for 8 days, and they're about the same size. So here are the two plants that survived over winter. The rosemary plant and my thyme plant, which I thought this was going to die, but it started getting really green in the last 2 weeks. So I was going to pull it, and I'm glad I didn't. These should be gigantic by the end of the year, and I'm going to plant out parsley and basil in this bed. And I'll probably end up buying 2 or 3 different herbs that I didn't do by seed. Over here I got my greens and lettuces planted out. So I got the kale back here towards the right side of this bed. And then a mix of lettuces and mesclun. A little bit of chard. Let me get in here. There's a chard plant right there. And here's a little one, which is kind of getting choked off by some of these wood chips. I gotta create a little bit more space in here. And then I have spinach and arugula. So I also think, just like with the broccoli and cauliflower, I could have probably planted these out by seed a lot earlier than I did, which I did at the beginning of February. So it's either that, or I just didn't give enough artificial light so they grow faster. So I think those are the two things that I'm gonna have to do better next year or in the fall. And over in this bed over here, I had chard plants which survived over winter, but I ended up cutting them out just because I wanted to do some fresh ones. And it's funny because I made this, this is like a PVC greenhouse. I just drape over that plastic wrap. But I made this out of I actually was going to make a PVC chair, which I never ended up getting the cushion for it, or a seat for it. So I took it apart, and without even looking up directions, I somehow shaped it into this, which fit absolutely perfectly over my 4x4 raised bed. So that's kind of amazing. And I didn't get to use it in the spring, but like I said, I think this helped some of my lettuce plants survive over winter. So I'm going to be doing the same thing next winter. And these are the last 2 beds, which I have these open right now, or at least this bed's open. In this one I planted beet seeds and radish seeds, and that's what I got coming in here. These are all the radish plants, and the beet seedlings, I think they're coming up here. And I did these in squares, so I kind of did it in 1 foot quadrants. So I have, if you break down the half of this bed into 4 foot by 2 foot squares, I have 2 with the radish and then 2 with the beets. And then what I'm going to do is in a couple weeks I'm going to plan out into the other quadrants so I layer them a little bit better, because last year with most of my plants I ended up getting too many at once with cucumbers, squash, beets, radishes. So I'm trying to stagger them a little bit better this year so I can, you know, actually eat them when they're ready, instead of having to throw them out or compost them or give them away. So that's it for this video. I'm going to do these, probably do them monthly like I did last year, to give you updates throughout the summer here in New Jersey. So if you want to see those videos, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you are gardening or you want to garden. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I hope you have a great day. It's beautiful out here in New Jersey, and I'm looking forward to a good summer.